T-R-U-F. Truth.
He's the mirage in the rear view glass.
It's Ray from Dallas.
Was he here? Was he there? Was he ever mine?
Ray from Dallas?
Just a trick played by time.
This dude is savage as fuck.
Or just a dream?
What up, Ray from Dallas?
Ray from Dallas, tell me true.
He's fun.
Hi, Ray.
This appears to be a black man.
Ray from Dallas.
Let's take this walk.
Is he real or just a dream?
I'm the champion, feel the rush, the crowd goes wild.
Obviously, obviously, yeah, obviously. Obviously, yeah, obviously. Tell them, obviously. I know these niggas don't want me to win, but I'm sorry, G. I know they thought I wouldn't come back and pose on them hoes, but nigga, it's time to eat. I got a vendetta. Any one of you niggas, I been better. Got them gritting they teeth without gritting at them. Took a second away from the table, it's time to feast. Heard they was mumbling, talking up under their breath. That nigga a hoe, he soft. That nigga lame. That nigga bitch, he puss. I stood on business, that's law. I had them running that boots and tucking they tail and scared to put me on a song. I had them cuffing they bitch and thinking I hit. Shit, what you on? Couple years off, and I'm back in this motherfucker, nigga. Do somebody, then fuck your recognition. You don't like I'm spitting, nigga. Better shoot somebody. The game and full of clowns. I don't believe you sucker niggas. Better leave me be okay. Niggas better watch their speech, okay. You better than me, no way, Jose. I could be cutthroat and I'm all out, but I let them get paid for a minute. Let them look gang for a minute, but really they hate cause I never look lame for an image. Never be fake, I'm a realist. I'm solid. I went out and got it. I promise I'm with it. Want me to switch up and get soft on so you can make it. I promise I get it. I know some secrets I never tell, but most of you rap niggas got bitch ways. Quick to tell on you, get jammed down. Couldn't sit down 5-6 days. Put him and him in a crossway, but a gang member on display. That's the same nigga with an AK on the block yelling out gunplay. That's the same nigga with a trap house and he been through it so he no pain. Look in the face of a realer. Laws come questioning me on no names. Bitch, I really come from the trenches. Kathleen crashed out like road rage. Be done snapped that and got life in the pen cause most of you niggas got hoe ways. Man, see, most of you niggas got hoe ways. A lot of niggas be out here faking.
I'm your Huckleberry, 214 detonate.
Yeah.
I'm your Huckleberry, 214 detonate.
Boys on, still same.
In every state.
Flight car 39K, boy, wait. Crash lane 2, crash lane 2.
You riding phones off another man, true.
Oh man, you still at the gas pump.
Yeah, no camera lens, just a hot mic gleam. Any clickbait dream just to make a meme. Race stay cool while the chat stay lit. Respect that house, still talk my shit. You talk unit, but you split your crew. Blame them fool for the mess you do. OG talk race, but you missed that class. Now you flying front seat, gas, no gas.
I'm your Huckleberry, no face, off frame.
Woo!
214 soul in the wild, say my name, my name. Right form till you in, bleed. Respect ain't glide, it's deep.
Woo! Babyface falling like Lance called Jim. Mike till shake slip words thin. Kev out back, chain smoking his pay. 56 still can't clear the gray. Jeff BM in the Buick, call it flight 39K. Talks to Ghost co-hosting, back away, say I sell my tea, yes sure. Whatever you mean, gets every black voice on the semi, don't scream. Act like truth don't hurt, but he hooked, but real clean. Now the face gon' flinch when they hear that beam.
No face needed when the truth got teeth. Words cut deeper than a badge or a beef. Y'all play cop in a YouTube hood. I'm just saying what real ones would. Either do this weed.
Respect ain't weak, it's rare.
I'm your Huckleberry, 214 still ride. No K, a Huckleberry, 214 still ride. No cake, no man, throat in the sky. Riding boom till the tide is split. Ray from Dollar, yeah, I built this shit. Yeah. Name's Ray from Dallas. I ain't scared of nothing. Yeah. No face required. Just facts and fire. I'm your Huckleberry.
Man, shout out to everybody on here from the 214 to across the states to across the pond. Salute. Man, shout out to the sun rays. Man, shout out to everybody around the world. Man, I hope y'all having a great, beautiful day today, right? And y'all know I love y'all with everything in me, right? And I apologize for being late, but some came up. So let me turn up for y'all real quick. salute, salute, salute. Man, let me see who in the building. I seen the beautiful. Let me see. All y'all beautiful though. Let me just start. I know I'm late, y'all. Shout out to the beautiful. Who a lot of people. Kathy Quinn, the Growth, Kayla, Akasha, Grammy. Who else in the building? Let me see. Catherine in the building. Who else in the building? Let me see. Yeah, I don't want to miss nobody. Y'all know I love y'all to death. Young Mr. Blunder. I was trying to get it together overall. Shout out to the beautiful Charlie in the building. The beautiful Jordan in the building. Salute to y'all, man. And y'all know I definitely appreciate everybody who rocking with me. Now, if y'all ain't hit that like button, hit that like button for your God. If y'all ain't shared this for me, please share this for me. A pretty please. Right? Because today, man, watching the GOAT last night, right? And Kouri Richins came up, right? And I've been keeping up with that a little bit, right? Now, listen, I'm not, a professional lawyer, whether it's defense or civil, right? I leave that up to the Melanie Littles and everybody else. That's what they do, right? That's where I learned from, right? But I am an American citizen, right? And we all could be put in this position to be jurors, right? We really can, right? And I understand, especially by watching the beautiful and great Melanie Little all the time, the way she break down them cases, you have to use the fact finders and you got to use your common sense, right? That's what I've been doing. So I'm like, is this calculated or coincidence, right? The deadly allegations facing Kouri Richins, right? Y'all see the thumbnail? Reasonable doubt, innocent or guilty, right? Man, watching a GOAT show last night, I think it was like 80, 90%. Shout out to the beautiful Kayla of people saying guilty, right? And I'm not mad at you because everybody got a right to their own opinion. I never judge nobody's opinion because I love it. That's what makes the world go round, right? But one thing I learned, especially listening, to the great lawyers we listen to, they say if you think maybe it could happen, you think it probably, maybe, possibly, then you're not guilty, right? So to prove a person is guilty, you got to be 100%, right? That person is guilty. And we got to abide by the law, right? That's just the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, right? And that's what the law tells us, right? To make sure it's not a doubt. Shout out to the beautiful Dusty Rose in the building. I mean, not a single ounce of doubt that woman is guilty. And as we go, hopefully I can get through all this because this case is intriguing to me, right? Not just this part, but the rest of the parts because, I just overwhelmingly see people saying guilty, 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 right? So shout out, I think this is the beautiful lawyer Lee. I think that's her name. Right. And shout out to Megan Cunniff. I got some of their content, just like really to break it down, right? Because like I said, y'all, this right here got me thinking. Like I say, as of now, Kouri Richins has pleaded not guilty, and her criminal case is still pending in Utah. We all know that. She has been charged with allegedly poisoning her husband in 2022, but she has not been convicted. Under the law, she is presumed innocent unless and until a jury finds her guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Right? 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 Y'all get that, right? So, we already know, but it means the jury must be firmly convinced that the defendant committed the crime before they can convict. Here's what it really means. It does not mean 100% certainty, no possible doubt at all, absolute proof. It does mean no logical, reasonable explanation remains that points to innocence. The evidence is strong enough that a reasonable person will rely on it without hesitation in an important life decision. The doubt can be based on guesswork, sympathy, or imaginations. If jurors think there is a possibility that a person didn't do it, they must vote not guilty. But if a juror thinks, based on the evidence, I am firmly convinced they did this, then the standards is met. Why it matters? Because criminal cases involve loss of freedom, prison time, and permanent criminal record. Right. And when I say that this is serious, ladies and so remember how they say beyond reasonable doubt, if you possibly think she did it, right? Like real talk. You got to have 100% certainty with anybody. I mean, it got to point directly at them, right? And today, right, what I'm going to show y'all is what I've been watching, the breakdown of Lawyer Lee, and we got some Megan Cunniff. We ain't breaking it down. It's just showing stuff to our, reasonable doubt, innocent or guilty. Like I say, 100% certainty, right? Now, before I start, salute to all y'all. Love y'all to death. If y'all want to support the channel, y'all can do that Cash App. Y'all see the super chats or however y'all want to do if y'all can. But make sure y'all definitely hit that like button and share button. And let's get into this first clip.
The person who should be the prosecution's most important witness, Carmen Lauber. She was a housekeeper who did work for Kouri. Well, she worked for Kouri's aunt, but she did work for Kouri as well in the homes that Kouri was selling. She would do cleaning in the homes as Kouri was getting ready to sell them. So I would say overall that the defense had three main points. I'll tell you what they are. We'll go through them. I'll show them to you quick. There were three main points that they wanted to make with this witness, but it took more than 4 hours. It went on and on and on. And you could see from the comments where I was watching that people were incredibly impatient with it. There was a lot of repetition, and there was also a lot of time spent trying to get the witness to the spots where the witness needed to read something or remember something. So let's go ahead and look at what those quick points are. Point number one is that law enforcement was putting major pressure on this witness. She was in jail, and she was facing possibly years, decades even, in prison. And if she didn't cooperate, then she would be out of luck. They said, if you will come and help us, and they were very clear, we went over this yesterday, not just help us in general, not just come tell the truth, but they said, what we need is to prove that Kouri Richins is guilty of murder. They were very clear with their words. And if she did that, they would help her. And if she couldn't do that, then they wouldn't help her. So let's go ahead and see what Carmen said. And even, let me go ahead and add this. You're about to hear it anyway. There was even a point where they actually told Carmen Lauber, called it the big giant get out of jail free card. Oh my gosh, I am sure the prosecutor had to have had a heart attack.
Now, you heard her, right? And like she said, it came to a point where they offered Carmen a big get out of jail free card, right? And it always plays into it, right? And I know a lot of people say, oh, it took 4+ hours. I watched every single second of it, right? You know, people like to blame stuff on lawyers, right? And say the lawyer not doing their job right. But when you clearly got a witness on the stand who acting like they don't remember, it was long ago, oh, I got to read all the pages and stuff like that, then what you think a lawyer's supposed to do? They supposed to rush through it to appeal everybody's feelings around here? Or do they supposed to do their job for their client, right? To prove that their client is innocent, right? So, like she said, a lot of people was complaining, right? And I'm like, why is they complaining? Shout out to the beautiful tons in the building. Why is they complaining? Y'all put y'all life on the line. Be in that position. Is y'all gonna be worried about how long it take if a person on the stand is not cooperating? And remember, they offered her a big get out of jail free card. But let's get to it though.
Get out of jail free card because of you helping us. Remember them telling you that? Bottom of 112 over to 113. You're getting a big, giant get out of jail free card from us.
Correct.
From that. Okay. And I think actually Detective O'Driscoll was there at this interview. I think he's the one that told you that, right?
No, it's Detective Maynard.
Do you remember that Detective O'Driscoll tells you something to the effect that this whole case is hinged on you and you have to finish painting the picture because they don't have enough yet?
Correct.
And do you see how specific that is? If you won't testify in this way, we don't have enough to be able to convict Kouri Richins. That's a terrifying statement because it's hanging out there to the jury. If they don't believe Carmen Lauber, then the prosecution itself has said they won't have enough. Very serious issue, very serious stakes here around this witness. Now, I think that the defense did make some headway with the fact not just that the state was willing to make her a deal and make Carmen Lauber an offer, depending on what her testimony was, but also with the fact that the state was really helping her with her testimony, with what exactly she would say. They were suggesting, the defense was, that the prosecution was basically telling her what to say, that the law enforcement people, detectives meeting with her, were pretty much coaching her in what to say. Here's how that came out.
And then you tell Ms. Whistler, the other guys, referring to Detective O'Driscoll and Maynard, they made it much easier because they drew it all out for me. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay, take a look at page 34.
Correct.
Okay, so you said they made it a lot easier, but Ms. Whistler's making you tell the story yourself, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so next major point that the defense made or needed to make with this witness is that Kouri Richins never asked her to buy fentanyl. Now, the story as explained by the prosecution is the witness you're seeing right now, Carmen Lauber, went out and purchased a drug for Kouri Richins. Kouri said, would you please purchase? And initially what she wanted was oxycodone. And later she said she wanted stronger stuff, the Michael Jackson stuff. Now, Carmen Lauber says that when she went out and bought this from the next witness you're going to hear from, Robert Crozier, that when she went out and purchased this, that Robert told her, look, I don't have any oxycodone right now, but I can sell you fentanyl. And she told Kouri all he could get was fentanyl. And Kouri said, okay, fine. Why is that important? For several different reasons. One is that if Kouri Richins doesn't have access to fentanyl, if there's no proof that fentanyl came into her hands, then it's more difficult for the state to prove she poisoned her husband using fentanyl. And that's what the medical autopsy discovered. He died of fentanyl overdose. So if it didn't come from Kouri, where did it come from? They don't have to prove that Kouri actually got this fentanyl but it would help them a lot because they are weak on the evidence that shows Kouri having administered this fentanyl to Eric. He died of it. They can show that. She had a lot of motive, but connecting those two pieces, that's harder. And that's why they want this witness to talk about this connection. And if Kouri never asked for fentanyl, that creates another problem. Because if all she asked for was something that he didn't die of, where's the proof that she intended to kill him? And that's creating another problem for the state. So point number 2 is Kouri did not ask for fentanyl. She wanted oxycodone. And this witness, Carmen Lauber, initially told law enforcement exactly that.
So do y'all hear that? She didn't want fentanyl. She wanted oxycodone. And Carmen originally told law enforcement that. What y'all think about this? This is their big witness, right? They got 2 of them, right? But this is one of their big witnesses. If they was trying to come put the nail in the coffin, right? But you said this, now you saying that. It's their big witness, y'all. If you're a juror, you got to pay attention to this. Where's the evidence that Kouri asked to get fentanyl? She asked for oxycodone. I'm just saying, it's not up to me. I'm not in the jury. But I'm saying, like, is she innocent? Is she guilty? Or is it reasonable doubt? Let's continue.
That.
So then it says, okay, so that's what Kouri had asked you to get. Is that fair? And your answer is, did she ever come out and ask for fentanyl? No. Correct?
Correct.
Ms. Whistler says, okay. And you say, she asked me to get Michael Jackson stuff. Yes. Ms. Whistler says, okay. Did you tell her you were?
This real quick. So I think her name is Mrs. Winters, whoever she say. This was the lady who came and interviewed her after, right? Y'all gonna understand why she interviewed her after, right? Because it was some detectives that interviewed her first. You know, put the whole so-called thing together, right? Okay, bro. Shout out to the beautiful Me V, right? So I want y'all to understand that this is after the fact when she's getting interviewed with somebody else. Shout out to the beautiful Mary B, right? This is happening after the fact, my people. So listen to this.
That.
So then it says, okay, so that's what Kouri had asked you to get. Is that fair? And your answer is, did she ever come out and ask for fentanyl? No. Correct?
Correct.
Ms. Whistler says, okay. And you say, she asked me to get Michael Jackson stuff. Yes. Ms. Whistler says, okay. Did you tell her what she was getting was fentanyl? And you said yes. And that's on the second transaction that took place in my driveway when she came to pick it up, correct?
Correct. Okay.
You get a text from Kouri saying, my investor wants something stronger, maybe the Michael Jackson drug, but you don't know what that is.
No.
But it's not fentanyl.
No.
And you tell them again that Kouri said, I need some pills for an investor with back problems the first time she reached out, correct?
Correct.
And then you tell them that you know for a fact the first 2 times you bought pills were not fentanyl. At this point, you say, I know for sure the first time wasn't fentanyl. Correct? Yesterday.
Okay, so for these, let me be clear. I have cut like crazy to give you the meat of the point that I think that the defense was trying to make. It took a really long time to get this out in front of the jury. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, but I want you to at least understand the arguments that they're trying to make. And these are the key points that they needed to make with this particular witness. And one of the ones that, in addition to saying Kouri didn't ask for fentanyl, they suggested, because one of the prosecution's key documents is, or statements, is where Kouri supposedly said, I want the stronger stuff this time. I don't want that stuff you gave me before. I want stronger stuff. What does the prosecution say? That means that she wanted to kill Eric. She tried once on the 14th, the prosecution says, and it didn't work. So she tried again. She wanted stronger stuff, and that's why. But the defense wants to say maybe the stronger stuff just meant stronger oxycodone, with specifically access to Roxy 30s, which would be a bigger, stronger dose of oxycodone.
You acknowledged that you had told Mr. Crozier that you wanted Roxy 30s or blues. We found that page number yesterday, and you acknowledged that, yes, that is what you had said at the time. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. So my point is, Roxy 30s, 30 milligram oxycodone, are a stronger variety of oxycodone than what you would typically get in a prescription, right?
Yes.
One of the things that this witness testified to was the color of the pills. And that may seem kind of like a small detail, but the reason it matters is because the man who supplied the drug to her is going to say that the color of the pills that she describes was only used for oxycodone. That if he had fentanyl, which he did sell at a later point, not at this time, he says, it was a completely different color. So it's critically important what she says about what exactly those pills look like. Here's
Shout out to the beautiful Allie, the cat track. She's in the building. Salute, beautiful. Love you to death. Now, stuttering. Yes. Oh, no, I don't. Huh? Listen, y'all, somebody's life on the line, right? It's not about personal feelings. You take that out the way. I love you too, Allie the Cat Track. You take that out the way, your personal feelings of how you feel. You got to look at this for what this is. Their big witness right here. And a lot of people was complaining how long it took. Shout out to the beautiful lawyer Lee. She did too. But if a woman's saying she don't remember, this and that, if it take this long to get to, you got to do that. You sign up for jury duty to do your civil duty, right? I don't care how long it take to get something out of somebody. When somebody's life on the line and you is a juror and you deliberating that, you take it seriously, right? And that's how I'm looking at it, right? And this is they most important witness, right? Oh, I ain't heard nothing yet. And salute, right? Y'all know we're gonna be off. Mars, I think he come on at what time? In like 2 hours, 3 o'clock my time, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. They doing a big fundraiser for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. So we're gonna definitely be off here before that. So we can go over there and check out the great Mazda. Okay, yeah, 4 Eastern Standard Time. So let's go to the next one. It's they star witness. It's a star witness. You should remember like that.
Times you told them you purchased 2 times from Mr. Crozier, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you told them that the first time from Mr. Crozier you got light green pills, correct?
Correct.
And the second time you got light blue pills, correct?
Correct.
That you got his number from Nicole Cummings, correct?
Yes.
Told him you needed Roxy 30s or blues, correct?
Correct.
Blues at that time did not necessarily mean fentanyl, right?
No, they meant fentanyl. On the street. The street drug is blues for fentanyl.
I know that became the street name for blues, but did it mean that when you reached out to Nicole?
Blues are blues.
All right. Okay.
So we'll talk about that in just a minute, what you just heard about the blues. But I want to make a point because I saw a good question or comment in the chat asking about the color of the pills, and maybe that changed over time. While true, oxycodone was actually a prescription drug. So it was fairly standardized in terms of the colors and what it looked like. And so Robert Crozier, the next witness, is going to testify that these pills were pretty standard colors. They had come straight from prescriptions that he was selling illegally. They weren't a prescription written for Kouri Richins, but he was selling them. He would get people's prescriptions and sell them. So all that discussion about blues and fentanyl, I don't think the jury followed that at all. There was a key witness who probably discussed it, but we didn't get to see him. I'll tell you about that. That was a really weird occurrence where suddenly the court TV plug was pulled and all of the feeds stopped and we missed an entire witness. So what exactly happened there, we don't know. Essentially, here's what the two sides are arguing. The defense is trying to say blues, at least at this time, meant oxycodone. The prosecution wants to say blues meant fentanyl. And this witness is agreeing with the state side. I think the witness we missed would have said the same thing, but I don't know. What I do know is the next witness, Crozier, the guy who supplied the drugs, said, I supplied them, and blues to me meant oxycodone. That's pretty strong since he supplied it. So those are the first 2 points. Point number 3 that the defense needed to make with this witness is that her story is an absolute mess. She told dozens of variations of her story, and she absolutely can't be trusted. That is what the defense wants the jury to come away with. That's one of the key points they had to make with her. And here's one example. Carmen Lauber claimed that Kouri left her money to buy the drugs at what Kouri called the Midway House. And then Carmen would leave the drugs there and Kouri would pick them up there. But in fact, there was a problem with that. Listen to what the defense brought out.
Blues is blues, huh? Come on now. We know the difference between oxy and fentanyl. Blues is blues. That's what we doing. We automatically just saying that, y'all. Come on now. Let's get to the next one.
And you picked up the money at the closet in the Midway House for the purchase for Mr. Crozier, correct?
Correct.
In a closet, correct?
This one might have been the box. I'm not sure which one.
Wasn't the box in the closet?
Yes.
Okay, so in a closet in the Midway House.
Correct.
And you got approximately $1,000.
Correct.
Are you aware that Ms. Richins didn't own the home in February of 2022?
I knew it was a house she was flipping.
Are you aware that she'd already sold it at the end of January of 2022?
No.
But that's a pretty big problem, right? If she's saying, I received $1,000 that Kouri left there for me, and I left $1,000 worth of drugs there for Kouri, that's not very likely to happen if, in fact, Kouri doesn't own the house. She's not going to make a drug exchange in a house someone else owns. That would be nuts. So these are the key points that the defense needed to make with Carmen Lauber. But let me say this, like I said, I condensed it. I cut out everything in the middle. I'm telling you, just click, click, click. These are the points that they needed to make with her. But the testimony, as it actually played out in court today, descended into a lot of confusion for everyone. I'm going to give you an example. We know from yesterday that the story that Carmen said at trial, that she bought drugs from Robert Crozier 3 times, is a new story. Initially, she had said, I bought once from a woman named Susan Kohler, and I bought twice from a man named Robert Crozier, the drugs for Kouri specifically. But now at trial, she said, well, it was 3 times that I purchased from Robert Crozier and 1 from Susan. So, but listen, just listen to this. It's like the old, who's on first skit. And I think at the end, everyone in the courtroom or watching was confused.
Originally, you said there were only 3 transactions. 1 from Susan, 2 from Robbie. Now you're saying there's 4. 1 from Susan, 3 from Robbie. So are we talking about the original 3rd transaction or the new 3rd transaction?
Your Honor, objection foundation to the consent transaction.
I think she said the transaction. She said
the 3rd one, no matter what you do.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what?
The 3rd is the 3rd, no matter what you do.
It's the 4th that was added.
It's sustained. It's the 4th that was added.
All right. Well, no.
See what I mean?
The 3rd one originally would be the last transaction. Now the 3rd one would not be the last transaction. So are you talking about? Because originally you said there were 3 transactions. So when you said the 3rd, did you mean the last transaction?
When I say that, I mean the 3 from Robbie, including Susan's or excluding Susan's?
You said there were 3 purchases all before Eric died.
Correct.
All right. They come back later and tell you that's not correct, right? That's not on the page. I'm just asking you. Did they come back another day and say, no, the last purchase was after Eric died?
The 4th one?
The new 4th one, yes.
Correct. Actually, yes, correct.
Okay.
In several interviews, it was 3 transactions, 3. She stood on that. Now all of a sudden she come to court, right? It's a new 4th transaction. Oh, y'all don't know about that new Ford transaction, right? Because the detectives told her the only way we can get this case to get her is to have this fourth transaction. 3 transactions, she stood on that, then automatically 4. Now her memory is great. She don't got to look at the paper to look at what she said and say correct. She said, you talking about the 4th transaction? I'm just saying, you got to pay attention. Let's keep going.
Yesterday, Carmen Lauber said, I wasn't driving when we went to pick up these drugs. My friend.
It's the wrong one.
Okay. Confusing. Am I right? That's really hard. And I think where the defense lost some steam today, especially after yesterday, and I'll just go ahead and pull that out for now. But where they lost a lot of steam, I think, was heading down a bunch of rabbit holes that don't really matter to prove that Carmen Lauber was lying. It is important that they prove that because she is such a critical witness for the state. And obviously, Kouri's team needs to disprove what she's saying in order to make their points. But that could be done with a handful of these as opposed to going down every single rabbit hole where something could potentially be a false statement she's making. If there's too much of it, it can make it look mean, like the attorney's just being mean or picking on the witness. And it violates the cardinal rule of trial lawyers. I've told you, for those of you who are long timers, you know what it is. What is the cardinal rule? Never bore the jury. Never. That you just can't. If you do that, you're going to lose them. They're not going to follow along and they're not going to be understanding what you want them to. So her point was, I'll just give you a few examples of the places where I think they got lost. There was one point they wanted to make about with law enforcement that she was supposed to, or at least told law enforcement, I know I'm talking to you about potentially becoming a witness, but I'm not telling anybody that I'm talking to you. And the point the defense wanted to make was that wasn't true. She was talking to her best friend, Nick Bonsavage. And it took 11 minutes to make that point. That is a really long time with, looking at scripts and stuff like that. Does it really matter? Is that really all that important? There were other things directly connected to the case where there could be proof that she lied, like 2 times versus 3 times. And maybe lied isn't the right word, but gave different types of testimony or different statements. So I don't know if it was worth 11 minutes. And then here's another one. They went down today. The defense went down pretty hard on maybe she's still lying about her sobriety date. You may remember I mentioned that yesterday. I'm like, I don't think this really is adding up. Or maybe she's even still using, they kind of implied. But do we really care? Does it really matter to us in terms of deciding Kouri Richins' guilt or innocence? Does it make a difference? If Carmen Lauber is lying about her sobriety date, wouldn't that just be something kind of natural for somebody in addiction to do and doesn't really affect anything else that she'll say she was using during many parts of what's happened here? And isn't that enough? Are we getting anywhere further? But that took 5 minutes. And then there was also a fair amount of proof around she took some of the pills that she was buying for Kouri for herself. That was one of the things the defense wanted to prove. And that, here's an envelope of pills. Part of the way she got paid was she, one for me, one for you. And she would take some, or she gave some to her friends. And that took about 6 minutes plus a whole lot of technical trouble. Do we really care? I mean, what if she got paid with pills? If she got paid with cash? Does it matter? Does it make a difference in terms of what exactly proof there is about Kouri Richins? So, I mean, to me, the kind of short version is it certainly would not shock me if she, in fact, was taking pills from the stash she purchased or if she was still using. I just don't know if it really matters. So there was also.
Well, in respect to Lawyer Lee, like she way more smarter than me in this, but me as a, civil person, if I'm doing my civil duty as a juror, I don't care if it take 11 minutes, 6 minutes, 5 minutes. If I'm seeing a witness on the stand who acting like she don't understand and she see the words and she try to correct other words, when the lawyer say one word wrong, but then it'll take her 5 minutes to look at the page. And then what I didn't like, she was reading the pages a lot. And the judge didn't stop that until the second day, right? Of making her look at her while she answered the question before she started reading. So respect to Lawyer Lee because she is great at what she do. But I definitely totally disagree with that. I don't care how long it takes. I'm looking at this witness, right? If this is a big, important witness, this is one of the nails in the coffin, right? So I'm looking at her. I'm seeing how she running around this, right? I'm seeing her demeanor, the way she looking, the irritation, right? I'm seeing it. And that means something to me if this is the big witness, right? The big witness who done changed the story several times. The big witness, right? And it's a lot more to get to. Like, I'm gonna go through it, right? Because I don't want to say what I'm gonna say until it come up. But let's continue with the big witness.
Yesterday, Carmen Lauber said, I wasn't driving when we went to pick up these drugs. My friend, Nicole, I think, I can't remember her name, but my friend drove because I didn't have a license, so I couldn't drive. Okay. Well, they noticed that the picture is backwards. So, there was writing on the cap of the woman. And then, in fact, if you flip it around the other way, it's quite clear that Carmen is driving. Carmen is not the one in the passenger seat. And this was flipped around, and that made it look like the other person was driving. That is really good cross if it's Karen Reed's case and the Sally Port and the direction and where the light is broken is really important. But do we really care if Carmen Lauber was driving without a license? Is that all that important? I'm thinking not really. And so I thought it was great proof, but it was also not something that carried their case anywhere. It didn't move it anywhere. So it was things like that we spent a whole lot of time dealing with. Now we get to one of the most important witnesses of the entire case, Robert Crozier, I think they called him. But the reason he's so remarkable, so important, is because he flipped his testimony. We found out about that about a month and a half ago. He initially, in fact, he was brought by the state, right? They put him on the stand, but he initially was supposed to come in and say, I sold fentanyl to Carmen Lauber. Carmen Lauber then would say she sold fentanyl to Kouri Richins. Straight connection. Kouri gets the fentanyl. Eric dies of fentanyl overdose. There's at least that connection with the drug, even if they can't prove exactly how it got administered to Eric. But what happened was that this witness, Robert Crozier, has flipped. He no longer is saying exactly what he said before. He's saying, I didn't sell fentanyl. So we'll go through that and you'll kind of hear what he says. One of the things that he said repeatedly was that he gave Carmen Lauber whatever she asked for, but he believes she asked for Roxy's or oxycodone. That fits with the initial story that Carmen told law enforcement. That's exactly what she told them too. Now she's saying that she was told it was fentanyl, but that isn't what she initially asked for. So when they first approached this witness, Robert Crozier, he was in jail. And he says he was high, and they basically just told him what it was that what his story would be. And he said he just agreed with it. Here's what he had to say.
Now, Robert Crozier, let's get into him. Another big witness. Shout out to the beautiful Kimberly and Sammy. Another big witness, right? Now, what I didn't tell y'all, which y'all all probably know, Carmen and Crozier, they both have immunity, right? Immunity. And with that immunity, you better come here and say that story right and tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Y'all know how I say truth, right? That's T-R-U-F, truth. Because if you don't do what that prosecution said they talk to you about, it's going to go differently for you when your day comes in court based on how you testify. Big facts. This guy could be facing some time. So I want people to use their common sense, right? Shout out to the beautiful Andrea Stewie in the building. This guy could be facing some time, right? Because he know you better come here and tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, right? His testimony could have easily came over here and he could have protected himself, but he knows under oath you must tell the truth. And this guy came and told a whole different story. And I want y'all to understand, with him doing this, the prosecution looking at him crazy now. Because now they could do what they want to him, but he know if he don't tell the truth, that's on him. That woman, Carmen, oh, she don't want to be in jail. She willing to do whatever it takes, right? Because she know if she don't cooperate her new story, listen, with my two fingers pointing down, her new story, ladies and gentlemen, she could be facing a long time because it's like she got 3 felonies, I think, 5 to life, and then a 0 to 5. She could be facing major years. So that's just food for thought on that. Let's get to Robert Crozier.
Here's what he had to say.
Agree in the interview generally that you confirmed that you sold pills containing fentanyl to Carmen Lauber?
No, I said that, from what I read, I said that she knew what she got what she wanted. Whatever she asked me for is what she got, but I'm pretty sure it was Roxy's, and it was, the whole questioning with those cops was them kind of telling me what I had been doing.
So Robert Crozier filed an affidavit in which he laid this out. The defense used it in some of their motions before trial got started. The prosecutors are now in the very bizarre position of trying to impeach their own witness. And so they worked through the affidavit saying, well, all of these things you said in the affidavit are false. Although primarily what was false about it was it repeatedly referred to him selling OxyContin, not oxycodone. Now, it looked really bad when the prosecutor went through it, and there's like, in paragraph 4, that's wrong, and 5 is wrong, and 6 is wrong, and 8 is wrong. But really, what was wrong about it was that it was just OxyContin instead of oxycodone. We'll talk about what the difference is in just a minute.
In that interview, remember that they just told you what you'd been doing, and you just kind of agreed. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I didn't really want to get in trouble. I was already in jail. I had bail. I was trying to get out. I wasn't. And they kept telling me that I wasn't in trouble and nobody was going after me, and things like that.
But here's the thing. OxyContin and oxycodone was the primary problem with the affidavit. That was where the prosecutor was really pointing out that it was incorrect, or where the witness was agreeing, yeah, it says OxyContin and it should say oxycodone. But that doesn't really matter for this case. Here's the difference.
What's the difference between OxyContin and oxycodone?
OxyContin is way stronger. And it's time released now, I believe. Like, I think in the 90s it wasn't. They were having a lot of problems around the country with those. And then they made them time released. The oxycodone, or the OxyContin 30s, I believe, are purple, or they're red or maroon color or something like that. But okay. Yeah, they have like a gel around them.
All right. So there's a mistake that we put OxyContin, and then you later corrected it with your attorney and said, well, this is right, other than it should say oxycodone.
Yes.
All right. Because you were selling oxycodone.
Yes.
Not
let me
oxycodone.
Yes.
So does that really matter here? It doesn't, because of the fact that Eric Richins did not die of an oxycodone overdose or an OxyContin overdose. What he died of was a fentanyl overdose. So if Kouri is purchasing and only receives oxycodone or OxyContin, it doesn't really matter, because neither of those is fentanyl. So it doesn't truly undermine the affidavit, but it didn't look good. And for the defense's sake, it's a shame that they made that error. It should not matter in terms of interpreting what the witness was saying. His story now is, whatever I said to Carmen Lauber was true. Like, if she asked me for X, I gave her that. I didn't give her some strange, different drug. But he says he does not believe he sold Carmen Lauber fentanyl pills.
Miss Carmen Lauber testified that you told her, these are fentanyl pills, I'm selling you fentanyl pills. Would that be true?
I mean, if I said it to her, then it would be true. But I don't know that I said that to her.
Well, were you selling her fentanyl pills?
I don't believe so, no.
But why was it that you remembered that in 2022, early 2022, you were selling oxycodone and not fentanyl?
Because everybody was scared of fentanyl in early 2022 and in 21. it was all over the news and people were dying and it was kind of hard to get, and people were scared of getting it. And like I testified, I had people that had prescriptions. I had my own prescription and we sold those.
When you said you had a prescription and you knew people that had prescriptions, are you talking about oxycodone?
Yes.
And the pills you sold were actually prescription pills from a pharmacy?
Yes.
So the point.
Shout out to the beautiful Melissa F in the building. Whoo! It's the prosecution witness. Them two, they big witnesses. This dude said, I was in jail, man. They said, when nothing gonna come on me, I'm trying to get out, so it won't do nothing to my bail. Why he gonna come on the stand and say that? I want y'all to think about that. He came on the stand and told them that because he know he is under oath and he better tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Don't ever be sorry, Grove. We love you. Is y'all following me on this? Do y'all just automatically, with these two being their biggest witnesses, y'all, they biggest witnesses, right? What do he got to gain? He got immunity. He was supposed to say something different. He say, man, and they told him, like, you can get in trouble. Come. And the pills came from the actual pharmacy, like Catherine said. Right? And everybody know at that time, like he say, fentanyl didn't come in until like a year or so later. Right? Oh my. I see the thumbnail. Innocent, guilty, or reasonable doubt. Don't say nothing yet. We're going to go to the end. Let's get back to Robert Crozier.
So the point behind that is he didn't just go out and buy these on the street so that they might be tainted with fentanyl or cut with fentanyl. Instead, they were actually prescriptions from a pharmacy. Although the prosecution did point out they weren't exactly in a pharmacy bottle. It isn't like someone was literally handing over their prescription. Now, he would not have told Carmen Lauber that he was going to sell fentanyl. He didn't have any, he said, but there was some very important testimony that I think the prosecution can use about how at some point fentanyl was made to look just like Roxy's. It was frankly really confusing. He threw it in. I don't think the defense was expecting.
So at that time in early 2022, you would not have been telling Carmen Lauber, here, these are fentanyl.
No, I didn't have a fentanyl plug at that time. Like, I didn't know anybody that sold fentanyl at that time.
All right. And you said if you were asked for blues, that to you that meant what?
Roxy's.
Because before fentanyl became really well known, a lot of oxycodones were blue.
Yeah, and they were the M30s, like from the manufacturers. And I think that's why whoever makes those now, the fentanyl ones, they made them to look just like the Roxy's because people were taking, a lot of people were addicted to Roxy 30s at that time, so they made them look exactly like that, and that's why people were dying, because they were thinking they were taking a Roxy and they were taking a fentanyl that looked exactly the same, but color might have been a little different.
And those were either being made illicitly or brought in from Mexico.
You couldn't get them from a pharmacy for sure.
I'm sorry, you couldn't.
You could not get them from a pharmacy, no.
Okay, so the pills that you sold in 2022 that were light blue, those came from a pharmacy.
Yes.
Do you recall that selling pills that were light green?
If they were light green, they would have been 15s or 20s.
Did you tell them then that you never did sell fentanyl to Carmen Lauber?
I told them that.
Well, let me go ahead and stop it there. So one of the points that the defense made is, although there was that error made of OxyContin versus oxycodone, not only did it not make a difference, but also the prosecutors have been told about that. It wasn't as if it got hidden from them. And also, in addition to that, he met directly with prosecutors and he told them that.
Pretty sure that I sold her Roxy's and not fentanyl.
Okay. So you told them, excuse me.
Whew. Hold up. 3 months and going. Shout out to the beautiful Allie the Cat Tracks. Everybody turn up for her. Hold up. I say 3 months and counting. Now this on me and you, Allie. 3, 2, 1. Let's turn up. Man, salute to the beautiful Allie. The cat tracks love you to death. Ooh, wee, man. Ooh, wee, man. Is y'all hearing what I'm hearing? Like, this is they 2 big witnesses. And you must take that into account. And you must take into account also, we'll get to that, how Carmen is a liar, a big liar, if y'all don't know. Let me get him up out of there. So look, she is a big liar. A big liar, right? Huge liar. But she got immunity. And remember, she said 3 transactions, and then all of a sudden coming to court, she say 4. Oh, hold up. Robert Crozier, he has immunity, right? And he know he had to come in here and tell the truth. The prosecutors want him to say other stuff. Let's continue.
He told them basically the same thing that you said in September of 2025 and what you're saying today in your testimony. And did you sign a sworn affidavit that that in fact happened?
I did.
All right. And were you sober when you met with the prosecution in 2025?
I was.
To tell them that I never sold her fentanyl, I sold her Roxy 30s,
Yes.
oxycodone.
Oxycodone, yeah.
What was your understanding of what Carmen Lauber wanted? She said, I have a friend who wants some pills. What was your understanding of what that friend wanted?
That she wanted Roxy's.
So again, you didn't start selling fentanyl until late 2022.
That's right.
You had no access to it in January, February, March of 2022.
No.
When you did start selling fentanyl, what color were those pills?
Like almost purple.
A really dark color.
Yeah. Yeah, they were very distinctive.
Okay. So not light blue, not light green.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these witnesses now have changed their stories. Carmen Lauber initially said, I bought only oxycodone, and she now says, I bought fentanyl and handed that to Kouri. This witness, Robert Crozier, initially said, yeah, you're right, I sold fentanyl, and now says, no, I only sold oxycodone. So each of them has to explain the reason for the change. Now, Carmen, they both have immunity. Both of them received immunity. Carmen got 4 different letters from counties or federal government, and Robert received 3, 2 from county and 1 from federal. So they both are testifying under immunity. They have to tell the truth, and if they don't, then they face consequences for their other legal issues. But as long as they testify truthfully, they're given immunity for what they say in this case. But in this particular case, one huge difference is Carmen is receiving an advantage and doing exactly what the prosecution wants with what she's saying, whereas Robert Crozier is frankly saying something that could get the prosecution very upset. This is not what they thought they were getting when they gave him immunity, because it isn't the same story he told initially. Now, here is how the defense ended the cross-examination.
So when you initially agreed with detectives that you might have sold fentanyl, you were high, you were coming down, and you don't remember saying that specifically. True?
That is correct, yes.
And when you met with myself and Mr. Bertram in September of 25, and you said you were selling only oxycodone, you were sober, correct?
Yes.
And you were being truthful?
Yes.
All right. When you met with Mr. Bloodworth and his investigator in April of 2025, you were sober?
Yes.
That's the prosecutor.
And you said you were only selling oxycodone in early 2022?
That's correct. Thank you.
Robert, I want you to look at the jury. I want you to tell them, are you telling the truth here today?
Yes, I am telling the truth.
What would you do if you were the jury? What a mess of a case. Am I right? It's crazy. And everyone changing their testimony. Everyone has to explain that. No one fully agrees, although Robert agrees with what Carmen first said, and Carmen agrees with what Robert first said. It's just a mess. And the jury's going to have to sort it out.
Man, shout out to the beautiful Lacey in the building. They 2-star witnesses, right? Both got immunity. Carmen, she got 4 counts. He got 3. Oh, I'm great, Lacey. Love you to death. Right? Why would he do that? He told us earlier, I was trying to get out of jail. Why would he do that? Who more credible? Let's continue.
It's going to be quite the case, but wow, it is really a dramatic case. So let's get into some of the other witnesses. The next one who showed up was Anna Isbell. Her significant other was a man.
Let's just go to this one right here. Let's go to this one.
Meet with federal agents, and you were nervous about that.
I don't recall.
What? I think you just said that was correct.
Well, I mean,
a few
I remember
minutes
time
ago.
I met with a couple people, but
All right. But you remember that you were very nervous about meeting with the federal agents.
yes.
All right. So on May 10th, which that's the thin notebook, which we're going to be referring to now, the one that you've got sitting on the. So May 10th of 2023, there are 3 people that come to the jail in Wasatch County to meet with you, to interview you, correct?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, correct.
Okay, so there were 2 assistant United States attorneys and an agent with the federal government.
Correct.
All right. And the one who primarily questioned you, I don't know if you remember, her name was Serena Whistler. Do you remember Ms. Whistler?
Yes, correct.
All right. All right. At this point, you have immunity from federal prosecution, correct?
I'm not 100% sure when the immunity came in.
You pull up the federal immunity. Well, she's pulling it up. At this point, though, your federal immunity is not completely nailed down when they come to meet with you. Do you remember?
Correct.
Okay. You want to take a look at Defense Exhibit 1006.
Are we using this to refresh?
No, I'm planning to admit it.
Okay.
Do you recall that letter, the immunity letter?
I don't recall seeing these letters. They might have went to my attorney.
All right. You've never seen the letters giving you immunity in these cases?
No, I have not.
All right. We can just take that down then. She doesn't recognize it. But you know you have immunity.
Yes.
All right. So in this interview, it's you, Ms. Whistler, Mr. Holden, another assistant United States attorney, and Officer Tyler Parker.
I don't recall their names, but yes, I know they were the
2 men
agents,
and
yes.
a woman. Okay. And Detective O'Driscoll and Detective Maynard aren't there to help you anymore, correct?
Correct.
And you have to give your statement by yourself.
Correct.
Nobody's there to lay it out for you, correct?
Correct.
All right. She asked you right up front if you talked to anyone about your cooperation also. Do you recall that?
No, I don't recall.
You don't recall that she asked you if you talked to anyone about cooperating?
I don't recall what was said between her and I.
All right. Well, I don't have the page number on that one, so we'll have to come back to that. All right. You tell them, though, about your drug use, right?
Correct.
And you tell them that the last time you used was in July of 2022. Is that correct?
I'm not sure of the date.
Do you want to turn to page 24 of the interview?
What's the date?
July. She has it. This is in the May 10th interview. Okay.
Oh, correct. It's right here.
Okay, so you told them July of 2022 is the last time you used.
Correct.
Okay, and was that a true statement?
It's been so long, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so you don't recall the last time you used?
Back then, I'm not 100% sure. You have the dates.
All right. Can you tell us, sitting here today, when the last time you used was?
4 years ago. I'm clean up a little over 4 years.
So that would put us at, we're in I can't even think what day it is, February of 26.
Mm-hmm.
And so the last time you used, you're saying is February of 22?
Hold on, I gotta count back to.
I mean, that's not correct.
I'm not sure of the dates.
All right. Well, you told them it was July of 22.
Like I said, it was a long time ago. I'm not sure on the dates.
Okay.
Or what was said.
All right. So let me ask you, I know, what phase of drug court was it that you were using other people's urine to have drug testing done?
I never used anybody else's urine.
You never used anyone else's urine?
No, I've never used anybody else's urine.
You realize you're under oath?
Yes.
Whew, did you hear this? I mean, they talking about this 4 hours, 2 days. Yeah, somebody's life on the line. And it's a big witness, right? She remember what she want. And you just hear the lies continue to flood. The cars outside are moving. Let's continue.
My original question is, you told Ms. Whistler that the first pills you got from Susan Kohler you left in the fire pit at the Midway house, correct?
Correct.
But that's not what you're saying today, correct?
Correct.
Now, is it fair to say when you were talking to the U.S. Attorney's Office, who could potentially charge you with a 20-year minimum mandatory crime, you were doing your best to tell them the truth?
It was a lot to take in, so I probably had confused a little bit.
Were you doing your best to tell them the truth?
Yes.
Is that fair? You
Correct.
were.
Mm-hmm.
And this conversation was approximately a year after these events took place. The conversation with Ms. Whistler took place about a year after these things happened, correct?
I'm not sure on the dates.
Well, they happened in March of 2022, February, March of 2022, and you're talking with Ms. Whistler in May of 2023, so a little more than a year, correct?
I'm not sure on that.
Well, the date is on the transcript. You need to look at it.
I don't think it was a year apart, but I could be confused on the date.
All right. If I represent to you that this interview is in 2023, are you comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay. So it was about a year after.
Okay.
And fair to say, 1 year after the fact, your memory was probably better than it is here today 4 years after the fact, correct?
Correct.
All right. Okay. Now I want to...
We all know that. Well, this is mind-boggling. Pay attention. You was confused. You said this a whole bunch of times right after it happened, and now you got this great memory. Oh, but you telling us you was confused. What is this? Let's continue, y'all.
You're talking with Detective Maynard again about getting it laid out for you, correct?
On page 7 it says that.
Okay. And that's because up to this point, they'd been explaining to you what had happened, correct?
They were explaining more to me what happened. They've had the data from my cell and everything, correct?
All right, yeah, that's true. They did have your... Not all of it, though, because you'd lost some cell phones, correct?
No, I've had that cell phone forever.
Well, you told them you'd had a lot of cell phones, and some of the ones that you were using back in 2022 were broken, but they did have some cell phones.
They did have
right?
some, yes.
Okay. So, initially, they were the ones that told you that Kouri asked for fentanyl, correct?
I don't recall. That's what they said to me.
Yesterday when you were testifying, we talked about this.
They told me Eric had passed away from fentanyl and overdose.
And we talked about that it was the detectives that possibly put the word fentanyl in your head. Do you recall that?
Correct, yes.
Because they are the ones that told you about the fentanyl, correct?
Correct.
All right. And in this interview, you're telling them you're worried because of all these possible charges that you might get, correct?
Correct.
And Detective Maynard says that the goal is to convict Kouri for aggravated murder. These parallel drug investigations, those aren't a priority. Do you recall that?
I don't recall.
Can we look at page 12 of that same interview? It's at the top?
Yes, correct.
So Detective Maynard told you the goal here is to convict Kouri of aggravated murder.
Jackson, Your Honor, that's not what it says.
Yes, it is on the top of page 12.
The word here is
Are you looking at the right spot?
You added a word.
You added a word.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, Ms.
I'll read it
Lauber,
exactly.
The question is, does that refresh your recollection that Mr. Maynard stated the goal is to convict Kouri for an aggravated murder?
Correct.
You're right. I added it.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
added the word here. So what was it Detective Maynard said to you? Why don't you go ahead and tell us?
I said the goal is to convict Kouri for an aggravated murder.
And then he said, the rest of that the next sentence?
Read the rest of what he said.
These parallel drug investigations?
Those aren't a priority.
Okay. So they're telling you they're not worried about what you're doing. Their goal is to convict Kouri of aggravated murder. Right?
Correct.
All right. And again, you're telling them it was just so much easier when they put the puzzle pieces together for you, correct? Do you remember that?
I don't recall.
Want to look at page 16?
16?
Mm-hmm. She at the top?
Yes.
Okay.
Line 3?
Yes. Does that? So now do you remember you talked about them putting the puzzle pieces together?
Correct.
All right. And didn't you also tell them that you were talking to your daughter, Kelsey, and that your daughter asked what was happening, and you didn't even know. You didn't know what had happened, is what you told her.
I don't recall.
It's on that.
On a jail call or?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no. Let me rephrase that. That you were telling Detective Maynard that you had been talking to your daughter, and you were like telling her, I don't even know what happened. Correct?
I don't recall.
All right. Let's look at page 16. Do you see that now?
At the very bottom, yes.
Okay. So you said your daughter asked you what happened, and you're like, I don't even know. Correct?
Your Honor, Foundation, I think at this point, counsel's using this portion of the transcript to refresh a witness's recollection. I think the next question should be, does this reflect your recollection?
She's still reading, so I wasn't quite sure. But are you done reading that?
The objection is sustained, and also we're having pronoun article trouble here. I'm really not sure what this is about. If you can be just specific and provide context in your questions.
So this is while you're still talking about, laying the pieces together and all of that. And
You have to ask her if that's her memory.
do you remember that? Well, we just talked about it. You remember that you had spoken with Detective Maynard about, putting the puzzle pieces together. That made it easier when they laid it out. We just talked about that a minute ago, right?
Correct.
And then you told him, look at line 16.
Ms. Lewis, I sincerely don't want to interrupt you. You have to ask her if she recalls. You cannot ask her.
I thought she said yes, she did recall.
Then there's no reason to go.
Oh, well, I haven't asked her if she called the second part.
Then that's why you can't just read from it.
So, yeah. So do you? I think I asked this, but let me ask it again. Do you recall telling your daughter, or not telling your daughter? Do you recall telling Detective Maynard? Yes, I talked to my daughter. She asked me what was going on, and I said I don't even know, or something to that effect.
I don't recall that.
Okay, so if you look at line 16 through line 23.
Read it.
Okay.
All right.
You didn't you tell your daughter you don't know. Oh, shout out to Lacey Alvarez. She said, right, this lady is so guilty. She did it for money. Little did she knows she changed his beneficiary. He changed his beneficiary. Has zero remorse. Not everyone is innocent. I've watched it all, although this lady may be shiesty. I did see his sister testify. That's another one. That's another one, y'all, right? That's another one that was shaky. His sister, man, I was like, what is this? How is she, being a witness on the stand and you acting like, I'm just saying, this is my opinion, right? Because they signed a prenup, right? Y'all got to know that they signed a prenup before they got married. And I understand y'all talking about, the trust and everything else, but like, oh my, like it's, I don't know. We're going to do that sister one probably later tonight. Let's get to this next. But man, reasonable doubt, innocent or guilty. Man.
I had to approve the conditions before I was released.
Well, she didn't have to go to court.
I still had to go a couple of times. I mean, I still go every 3 months now.
Okay. But let me just ask you, when you were very first released, you put an ankle monitor on, you were released from the jail. Did you have to go see Judge Mabee, or were you just released and you already knew the conditions?
No, I think I had to go in front of her.
Okay. So when you went back to Judge Mabee, she gave you some conditions of release, correct?
Yes.
And one thing they did is they transferred your probation from Wasatch County to Summit County, correct?
I think so, yes.
And your new probation officer became Detective Maynard, correct?
Yes.
All right. So he's now your probation officer. You testified yesterday that you only talked to him a few times after these interviews in May up until today.
I text him every morning, so I still have to check in with him.
Oh, all right. You didn't tell me that. So you text him every morning to check in with Detective Maynard?
Correct.
To tell him what?
I just have to send him a text saying good morning, and he responds back, Lauber, that's it.
Okay. Does he drug test you?
He was in the beginning.
How long did he continue to drug test you?
I don't recall.
Do you recall the last time you were drug tested?
No, I don't recall.
Has it been more than a year?
I'm sure.
Has it been more than 2 years?
I'm not 100% sure.
Could it be more than 2 years?
Yes.
So you haven't had a drug test in over 2 years, correct?
Correct.
Even though you are on probation with Summit County Drug Court, correct?
I'm not on drug court.
I'm sorry, I said Summit County. You're on probation with Wasatch County Drug Court.
No, I'm paused. It's in pause.
It's in pause. Okay.
It's paused.
What?
It's paused, so therefore I don't have to interact. I don't interact with anything to do with drug court right now.
All right. So you don't actually physically go to drug court because it's on pause until this case is over, right?
Correct. I go in front of Judge maybe every 3 months.
Okay. And every time you go in front of Judge Maybe, well, tell me, what happens when you go in front of Judge Maybe?
They just put it out another 3 months.
Do they ask you when the trial in this case is going to be?
They never have asked me.
All right. But they're putting it off until the trial's over, right?
Correct.
Because what happens is going to depend on if you testify at this trial, correct?
Correct.
And if you testify truthfully at this trial, then you are not going to go to prison, correct?
Correct.
And it's the people here at this table that decide if you've testified truthfully, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Well, who makes the decision if your testimony was truthful?
I have no clue.
Oh my, did y'all hear that? Detective Maynard, right? I want y'all to hear all of this, right? Detective Maynard, the detective turned into her probation officer. The detective turned into her probation officer. And this woman ain't had a drug test in over 2 years. 3 years. Shout out to the beautiful Me V. Let me turn up her. Thank you, Me V. Now listen, I want to play this clip again. Listen, y'all. The detective who told her, we're not worried about you. And look, it wasn't 3, it was 4 now, okay? I want you to say 4. Listen to this.
I had to approve the conditions before I was released.
Well, she didn't have to go to court.
I still had to go a couple of times. I mean, I still go every 3 months now.
Okay. But let me just ask you, when you were very first released, you put an ankle monitor on, you were released from the jail. Did you have to go see Judge Maybe, or were you just released and you already knew the conditions?
No, I think I had to go in front of her.
Okay. So when you went back to Judge Maybe, she gave you some conditions of release, correct?
Yes.
And one thing they did is they transferred your probation from Wasatch County to Summit County, correct?
I think so, yes.
And your new probation officer became Detective Maynard, correct?
Yes.
All right. So he's now your probation officer. You testified yesterday that you only talked to him a few times after these interviews in May up until today.
I text him every morning, so I still have to check in with him.
Oh, all right. You didn't tell me that. So you text him every morning to check in with Detective Maynard?
Correct.
To tell him what?
I just have to send him a text saying good morning, and he responds back, Lauber, that's it.
Okay. Does he drug test you?
He was in the beginning.
How long did he continue to drug test you?
I don't recall.
Do you recall the last time you were drug tested?
No, I don't recall.
Has it been more than a year?
I'm sure.
Has it been more than 2 years?
I'm not 100% sure.
Could it be more than 2 years?
Yes.
So you haven't had a drug test in over 2 years, correct?
Correct.
Even though you are on probation with Summit County Drug Court, correct?
I'm not on drug court.
I'm sorry, I said Summit County. You're on probation with Wasatch County Drug Court.
No, I'm paused. It's in pause.
It's in pause. Okay.
It's paused.
What?
It's paused, so therefore I don't have to interact. I don't interact with anything to do with drug court right now.
All right. So you don't actually physically go to drug court because it's on pause until this case is over, right?
Correct. I go in front of Judge maybe every 3 months.
Okay. And every time you go in front of Judge Maybe, well, tell me, what happens when you go in front of Judge Maybe?
They just put it out another 3 months.
Do they ask you when the trial in this case is going to be?
They never have asked me.
All right. But they're putting it off until the trial's over, right?
Correct.
Because what happens is going to depend on if you testify at this trial, correct?
Correct.
And if you testify truthfully at this trial, then you are not going to go to prison, correct?
Correct.
And it's the people here at this table that decide if you've testified truthfully, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Well, who makes the decision if your testimony was truthful?
I have no clue.
Now, come on. It's about common sense right now. We all know, right? If you get immunity from the prosecution, even though the judge did sustain it, right? That means they do decide. They're the one who's going to give the word to the judge and recommend you should get this, right? I got lost on this, y'all, when the detective who made her change her story, right, became a probation officer. Innocent, guilty, or reasonable doubt. Let's continue.
So if you got up here and testified today, I never bought pills from Robbie, I never gave pills to Carmen, would you?
I'm Carmen.
I'm sorry, I never gave pills to Kouri. Would you still be not charged in drug court? Everything would be fine? You'd just be done?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that one.
All right. So one of the conditions of your release is that there were certain people that you were not to have any communication with, right?
Correct.
And one of those people was Nick Von Savage, correct?
I'm not 100% sure.
Well, let me show you. It's been marked as IMPCL 7. Right here where it says the defendant is ordered.
Just make the next question after you read it as well.
Yeah, read it and then I'll ask you the question.
That is correct.
So one of your conditions was that you were not to have any contact with Nick Von Savage.
Correct.
You weren't to talk to Nick Von Savage.
Correct.
But you did talk to Nick Von Savage. You've been talking to him for the last 3 years, correct?
Correct. It was only until I had the ankle monitor on that I was not to have contact with my kids or Nick Von Savage. It says right there with the ankle monitor on. I had the ankle monitor on for a year.
Okay, that's not what that says.
And maybe I misread it.
I think you misread it. So these
But
were...
Ms. Lewis, we're asking her about her recollection, so if you'd follow up on that.
All right. So your recollection is it was only when you had the ankle monitor on you couldn't have contact?
Correct.
All right.
Because I had to go back and get permission to even talk to my daughters.
Well, did you have permission to talk to your daughters, or it was just you weren't to see your daughters in person?
I couldn't go down the canyon at all.
Right. And later that changed, and you were allowed to go see them in person?
Yes.
Correct. Okay. But take a look at this again. Does this... And then tell me, did the ankle monitor have anything to do with not talking to Nick Von Savage? So it doesn't say in there that the ankle monitor is connected to not having conversations with Nick Von Savage, fair?
I think that's where I was confused with combines in the top
Okay.
to the second sentence.
So you weren't to have conversations or contact with Nick Von Savage?
Correct.
But you have had conversations with him throughout the last 3 years. He's your best friend, right?
Correct.
You talk to him, well, I don't know that you talk to him a lot anymore, but you talk to him all the time at first.
Yes.
All right, so you didn't pay any attention to that condition?
No, I don't think I recall talking to Nick until he graduated drug court. Because it says that I'm not supposed to have any contact with any people in drug court.
Right, but Nick graduated from drug court before you were even arrested in April of 2023,
I'm not quite
correct?
sure when he graduated.
All right. If in fact he did graduate by April of 2023, you still weren't to have contact with him because he was a witness in this case, correct?
Oh, I don't recall that.
All right, I'm just going to ask you one more time. It says here you're not supposed to have contact with him, correct?
Correct.
And you have had contact with him throughout, correct?
Throughout a couple of years, yes.
Okay. Well, let me ask.
She sat up there and lied and act like she didn't know that she was talking to this Nick dude. Clearly, if you're a juror and you're looking at this, they star witness, right? Who don't supposed to have no contact in this serious case, and she does it anyway. Because remember, her probation officer say, we ain't worried about you. You small potato. We trying to make sure she guilty. So we're going to write out this timeline for us. And hold up. Now, We said that in these 7 interviews. Now we want you to say this. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She intentionally broke one of her rules after release and lied on there and said that. And then she said, oh, he had to be graduated from, I didn't talk to him, I did graduate from Judge Court. Then that defense lawyer, he had already graduated from that court. This says you can't have no contact with him. What is this? Is they star witness? This the one who ain't had a drug test. She been able to live her life, change her stories, do what they want to say, right? Do what they tell her to say. No, you say this now, do this. Because guess what? If you don't say this, it ain't gonna go good for you. Yeah, but still, they said no contact. She lied about it. She lied about a lot of things during this 2-day testimony, right? She also lied about not having contact with the detective until I found out he came up. He was her probation officer. So she had been at. Let's go to this last clip.
Yesterday it came up that Kouri Richins wrote you a couple of letters saying you'd completed community service that you hadn't really completed, right?
Yes.
You asked Kouri to write those letters for you, correct?
I asked Kouri if she could, yes.
All right, so you asked her, even though I haven't done community service, will you write letters saying I did?
Correct.
All right, so that's how you got those letters?
Yes.
All right. So, Carmen, isn't it fair that you really don't have a memory about what happened in February and March of 2022?
What do you mean by that?
Well, when you were interviewed in 2023, you didn't remember what had happened, correct?
Correct. It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot to take in. And you didn't remember it a year after the fact. So you really don't even remember now what happened in 2022 and 2022, correct?
Rephrase your question, that kind of confuses.
You didn't remember in 2023 what happened in 2022, and you don't now remember what happened in 2022, right?
Yes and no.
It's been laid out for you by someone else, correct?
Due to data, cell phone data and everything, yes.
All right, so whatever memory you have is what was, you don't have a personal memory, it was shown to you.
No, I have partial memory.
You have a partial memory.
I have memory, yes.
All right, fair to say your memory was better 1 year after the fact than 4 years after the fact, right?
It is confusing later on, years later, yes.
Okay. And you were using and selling that whole time in drug court?
I was not using and selling the whole time.
The whole period we're talking about of February, March of 2022?
Yes.
Kouri never once asked you for fentanyl, correct?
No, not correct. I mean, yes. Wait, you confused me. Can you ask the question again?
Kouri never asked you for fentanyl, true?
I had told her that that's what Robbie had, and she said, okay, go ahead and get it.
Right. Let me ask the question again. Kouri never asked you for fentanyl, true?
Yes.
All right. And you bought prescription Oxycontin from Susan Kohler, correct?
Correct.
You got light green pills from Crozier sometime in February of 2022, correct?
Correct.
And then you went back and said, give me more of the same, correct?
Correct.
And the last time you went back was after Eric Richins died, correct?
I'm not sure.
Well, the last purchase was May 9th of 2020, March 9th of 2022, correct?
Correct.
After, and you know Eric died on March 4th, correct?
It was March 5th he passed away?
Well, I think it was March 4th, but either way, the pills were after he passed away, correct? All right. And again, a year after the fact, you said numerous times, I bought pills from Mr. Crozier twice, correct?
Correct.
Now you're saying 3 times, 4 years later, correct?
Correct.
Because that's been told to you because of some data you saw, correct?
Yes, correct.
But you don't remember that?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, she don't remember that. Man, hold up. Like I said, innocent, guilty, or reasonable doubt. Y'all make y'all decision, because that's why jurors are important. You must listen to everything. And that's what I'm doing. And later on, we're going to have a sister cross examination, because it's so great looking at the whole trial, like, because when they get asked questions by the prosecutor, boy, it flows off their tongue so easy. But when the defense start asking questions, the stuttering and stuff. But salute to everybody, man. I love y'all to death, right? Got Mazza, big fundraiser coming up for Kelsey. I heard the OG say he gonna be there. So everybody that's in less than 52 and a half minutes. So everybody make sure they show out and show up over there, right? But I'm telling y'all, this right here, it's crazy. And I'm just giving y'all a little sneak peek. Another thing I found out, like, his own family didn't even know he chewed gummies, right? But we're going to get into that when I do the sisters later on. Love y'all to death. See y'all soon. TRUF. Truth.
He's the mirage in the rear view glass.
It's Ray from Dallas.
Let slip past. Was he here? Was he there? Was he ever mine?
Ray from Dallas?
Just a trick played by time.
This dude is savage as fuck.
Or just a dream?
What up, Ray from Dallas?
Beam. Ray from Dallas. Tell me true.
He's fun.
Hi, Ray.
This appears to be a black man.
Ray from Dallas.
Let's take this walk.
Is he real or just a dream? Falling stars or a laser beam? Ray from Dallas, tell me true. Are you the myth or the man I knew?
This dude is
savage as fuck.